The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Video Games to the Max, episode 182, and I am your host Sean Garmer, and here with me, of course, as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And of course, this is the official video games podcast at W2Mnet.com, and we are in partnership with Mania.com and Last Word on Life. And well, it's been an interesting week as far as the news goes, and just we have some pretty big games coming out between this week and the next, so things are starting to ramp up. But what has been going on with you, man?
Yeah, just playing games. I bought Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 and I've yet to even open it.
You'll get to that eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned Lego, you see, apparently Lego toy packaging confirmed that there's a Lego Incredibles coming out. So I'm guessing that will go over parts of the first movie and then parts of the second movie. And it's coming to all the systems. So are you interested in it at all? I know you've got several Lego games.
Yeah, I guess my question kind of is, compared to other Lego games, Lego Incredibles, there's only 5 or 6 characters.
Yeah, pretty much.
The four core family, the baby, and then Frozone.
Right.
And that's about it.
I think there's others that we will possibly see in the second movie that they might add.
I actually think if they do a Lego Incredibles game, it'd be nice if they did a prequel where, superheroes were celebrated and around. That'd be a more interesting take on it.
Yeah, I wonder if that will ever come across. I mean, I'm sure that will come across Disney's mind because of the way that they love doing sequels to these Pixar movies. But I wonder if I'd imagine they wait to do a number 3 and then they would go backwards.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. Number 2 for some reason I think it will be just fine unless the movie just bombs because the hype. But there's always a chance. Maybe it doesn't do as well as the other ones. But as we'll talk about with another film, it seems like every time they come out with a new film, Disney at this point, usually not with the Disney branding, but someone else's branding that Disney owns, it just keeps shooting up the ranks. But, well, whatever. I mean, Black Panther is making all kinds of crazy strides at this point. It's 100 million? Is it million or 1,000 away from beating Avengers at this point? So, it's, the fact that it even got that high, I think is incredible praise. Now everybody that says, "Oh, well, you have a whole an all-black cast that can't get anywhere," well, Black Panther proves you wrong on that point, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good movie, so
yeah, that helps too.
Yeah, it looks like Black Panther's looks like total about $300 million away from Avengers, at least the first one. But
it has another couple movies close to it, though. It's not far from. Is it just past Dark Knight, I think, and then that was the one that I saw this week that it had passed that, and
I mean it's ranked over for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's ranked number 2, in terms of overall, money.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's That's amazing. That everybody says, "Oh, it's going down. People are getting tired of it," and well, just imagine when Infinity War comes out.
Well, so much for that stupid racist like Facebook group that was trying to like vote down Black Panther.
Oh God, yeah.
Stupid angry nerds. Yeah.
That was so insane. The people that like, oh well, you wait, it's not going to do anything. Like, yeah, it has. So, anything you want to talk about on what you've been gaming here?
Well, I can actually talk about Yakuza 6 now because the review embargo's up. Yeah, it's a really good game. I actually still think Yakuza 0 might be better, just in terms of introducing like the plot, I guess, and some of the fighting. But yeah, Yakuza 6 is really good. It's a lot easier than other Yakuza games, which is actually kind of nice. The story is kind of all over the place, but
that seems to be the normal thing for those games.
Well, it's funny because I finished the game like the day the reviews all hit, like the night of. Like I was up till like 3 a.m. finishing the damn game. And then I read a few reviews, and they're like, "Oh, there's a really good bar mini game where you go into like a bar and drink with people, and talk to them and gain friends." And I was like, "I've been playing this. When I finished the game, it said your play time is 24 hours. I didn't see that mini game once, so I had to ask a few reviewers. I'm like, where is this mini game, or like where do you go? Because I have not seen it."
Were you able to find it?
Yeah, one of the guys was like, "Oh, it's in the other town, and you have to wait at night and go to this bar." And I was like, "It would have been nice if the game told me this. Like, I might have actually done this, earlier then."
Did you like it after you?
It's okay. I mean, it's kind of simple. You just have to like talk to people and like keep get drunk with them and do karaoke and stuff like that.
Hey, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Do some karaoke. Karaoke in those games is always one of the best things.
Yeah.
So, all for that.
Yeah. And yeah, the game ends pretty okay. I guess I didn't realize it, but there's like a lot of famous Japanese people in that game, which might have helped me a little. Aside from the wrestlers, I would say, because I know that's probably what you care about.
Well, I mean, so like, did they say? Did you find out who some of them were? Or?
Yeah, like the main guy, one of the guys you meet, he's like this older guy, like this head of like this really small crime family, is like Beat Takeshi, and it's like I know that name, like I know he's a famous guy, I don't know what he looks like, and then I looked him up, I'm like, okay, he looks exactly like this guy in this game.
So for people who don't know who he is, what is?
I think he's like a pretty famous Japanese comedian and like dramatic actor.
See, that's cool that they do that.
And like one of the characters you meet, who's like kind of like one of the main kind of story characters, like new characters. The guy playing him was from the Battle Royale movies. He's like the main character.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I mean, he's grown up now because those movies were made a decade ago, if not more. But I was like, okay, like that's kind of interesting then.
Well, there you go, Sega, getting some good people in there.
Yeah, and I guess there's talk about. I mean, this is little news. We'll go into it later. They announced Yakuza Kiwami 2 for America,
right?
But they've been talking about making both a Yakuza 7, like with a new character completely, and there's talk about them making a Yakuza basically like 0.5, which is a really dumb name, but I think the reason they want to make that one is because they really liked Yakuza 0's timeline or like time frame,
right?
And like that game didn't end terribly. Like you could still do more stories with Kiryu in that period, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I can understand them. Like Kiryu is their guy, right? That they've done a story around for how long now? Wanting to let go of him, I think, is difficult. Do you think that does End of Zero tie into the beginning of one at all, or?
Not really. That's the
Okay.
thing, is it, because I think Yakuza 0 or Yakuza 1 is like years later. Like it has a path of, like you and your friends splitting apart, kind of. That's about it.
Yeah, I think I always think that that's nice if you can. Not too many games can do what, and there's other games I just can't think of them right this minute. The one that comes to my mind always when we talk about this kind of thing is the way Final Fantasy 15 handles the movie and the game, the way it starts. Like, I really like that. I don't know that every franchise can actually get that right, but if that's sort of their plan too, is they feel like they can fit in a zero point 0.5 and make it connect more to the first one, I think that's a good idea.
I guess the danger with that, though, I mean, that movie, I never watched the movie, so I can't tell. But the danger with like that 0.5 idea is like it can become like superfluous, or like the Star Wars prequels, like it might just fill in backstory that's not needed, or might seem like kind of not needed in general.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, it does. There's a lot of story in Yakuza 0, so
yeah, I have a decent amount of faith like the next Yakuza game, whatever they do, will probably be okay. Like the talk is like the Yakuza 7. Well, they wouldn't call it Yakuza 7. I think they just call it like the Yakuza or something. But like the idea is like your new character is like a lot lower on the totem pole, like of the gang lifestyle, and is a lot more like emotional, which might be interesting because Yakuza is kind of Kiryu is kind of a like wall for most of the time.
Yeah, he's very
stoic.
Yes,
and light of everything. Although Yakuza 6 has some great moments of like him kind of commenting about how dumb his life is. Like there's a moment where I think he's talking to this person, and this person is like, "Oh, I think she just goes like, "Oh, my life is like so weird," and he goes like, "Your life is weird. My life, I walk down the street and people just want to beat me up all the time." And I was like, "Yep, that's pretty good."
I mean, I'm just happy for them to be able to do well enough now that they can do these kinds of things, because beforehand it was a big deal just to be able to get that Yakuza game, and sometimes it wasn't a year later or 6 months later, it was like years later. So that's good that they can get to this point now where they can feel good about making let's start a whole new series of Yakuza games, and then we can also remaster the old ones, make another 0.5. I wonder where they'll stop with that. Like, I'd imagine 3 was also on the PS2, correct? Or was that on PS3?
PS3.
I wonder if they'll just make a collection of 3 through 5 and just bring them all over together, since it's a little bit easier to do than PS2.
Yeah, but I still think they'd have to bump it up visually, like,
right.
Especially like Yakuza 3, I would imagine. Like, that's probably the one that needs the most work.
Yeah, because it came out closer to when the PS3 started.
Yeah. But, yeah, other than that, just playing, Zelda, and that's kind of about it. And a game I can't talk about until tomorrow.
You could talk about what the game is, right?
It's Assassin's Creed Rogue on PS4.
Okay.
Which, my only comment is, it's Assassin's Creed Rogue on PS4.
Yeah. I mean, if you like the PS3 and 360 version, I'm sure.
Wait, I can't talk about it today. Yeah, it's Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the embargo lifted at 4 a.m., so I'm cool. Yeah, I've noticed some graphical issues, like weird glitchy things occasionally.
Mhm.
But I still think like that's probably one of the best Assassin's Creed games because I really like how it utterly subverts like the whole narrative of the series.
How does it do that?
Because you're playing a guy who becomes like disillusioned with the assassin lifestyle and becomes a Templar, and then you just start hunting all the assassins to kill them.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Let's just go to the other side.
Yeah, and it has some very in function, it basically is like an expansion pack to like Assassin's Creed 4, or like basically like a big mod or something.
Right, because it has all the ship battles and all that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it plays 99% of the way Assassin's Creed 4 did, but 4 is a good game.
Right. 4 is possibly one of the most well liked of the entire series. So.
Yeah, like 4 and I think 4 and probably Brotherhood are probably like 1 and 2. And I think Rogue takes a little playing it now. It takes maybe like a hair too long to get going, like plot wise or like the game mechanics wise. But yeah, it's still a great game.
Well, that's awesome to hear people who didn't perhaps pick up Rogue when it was out on.
Yeah, that was the other thing is like Rogue came out like the same day Unity came out, and they were pushing Unity harder. And it's
because that was right around when Xbox One came out, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, PS4 and Xbox One, yeah.
Right.
It's like you may not want to do that.
Yeah, you should have picked up the better game instead of Unity.
The only thing is, I can't even tell. I'm kind of curious about how much this game costs, because if it's like $30, buy it, go for it. But if it's like $60, I might say to hold off. It seems like it's $30, which is a good price.
Well, you can get it on Steam for.
No, that's the old version, or like that's the, fine version. But I mean, if you just want to play it on PS4 or Xbox One, it looks like it's about $30.
Yep, 30. So hey, that's exactly. Go grab that if you're a big Assassin's Creed fan, and especially if you like the Black Flag.
Yeah.
If
you like the old style of Assassin's Creed, grab it, as opposed to what Origins did. You playing anything fun?
I am not really playing anything right now. It's just trying to get the site caught back up is a task in itself when you've been working again. So I've never really worked a job where, I had 40 hours sometimes with Kmart, but it was one of those where like I could come in whenever I wanted to, I could leave when I wanted to, because it got nobody cared at that point. And we're going to talk about, the Toys R Us, what's going on with Toys R Us. Like, this is actually, you go in at this hour, you get out at this hour, and then I got to go pick up Anaya, and it's like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, and now this is how much time I have left, So, yeah, it's a hard adjustment, but hopefully I can get back into that pretty soon. Being able to play things. I think once Ni No Kuni 2 comes, I think that'll get me playing more. Right now, I just kind of have things that I like, but I'm not totally into. So that's another thing too. Almost every game that I have that I need to I'm almost done writing the review, or I'm kind of halfway. I'm not like that enamored with it. So, not to mention Super Seducer just creeps me out every time I have to turn it on. So I'm just but yeah, so yeah, let's there is plenty of stuff to talk about. And we have a nice little segment too, because we're going to talk about, now we're not going to talk about all of them, because number one, we have to respect the fact that this is a printed media, and we don't want to be like, even though most people nowadays, you're getting it through the GameStop power-up rewards thing, I think it still needs to be respected. That's why you don't see sites going around printing the whole top 300 or whatever. You still need to go read it. either way that you get it. But we're gonna go over the top 25 or 30 games and just talk about that top 300 list that Game Informer came out with for their 300th issue, which is a really ridiculous achievement in of itself. When almost every other game magazine is pretty much done, Game Informer has still been around. I wonder how much they'd still be around if they didn't have that tie to GameStop, right? Because that has to help them. They get a guaranteed subscription every time somebody gets one of those.
They wouldn't be around if GameStop didn't own them.
Probably, yeah, you're right.
Gaming magazines aren't around anymore.
There's one, right, besides Game Informer, that I can't think of right this second, but I know I've seen it. But that's pretty. I mean, it's not old. They started it again. But yeah, you're right. All the old ones, they're done. And they're basically websites, or they don't exist anymore at all. So
I think EGM might still be around technically, but it's not what you think of.
No,
anymore.
Yeah, EGM's there, but they're not a magazine anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that, but might as well start with some things that came out this morning. As I was we were both getting ready to do this thing. We're doing this a lot earlier than normal. It's a Monday afternoon, not a Saturday or Sunday night or something. We just talked about Lego Incredibles. We've talked about Yakuza Kiwami 2 as well. That's coming. That's going to add more story to. Of course, that's a remaster of the other PS2 game, and they also announced finally the pre-orders and the price for the HTC Vive Pro. It's going to be $800. That's not really a surprise. The other one also cost $800 at one point. This one also, if you pre-order it now until June 3rd, you get a 6-month subscription to Viveport, whatever that is.
Probably some platform where you can get free games.
Probably. And the original Vive is down to $500. So if you have a really, really, really good computer and you are really a VR nut and you don't game too much on consoles and don't want a PSVR, you can get the Vive Pro for what the PSVR used to cost.
Double the price, if not triple at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with the Vive really is the Pro is good in certain, or the PSVR is good in certain things, but they don't really have. There's 3 or 4 good PSVR games.
Yeah, Moss, which we have a review for, I just have to actually get it up, is one of the few games that's actually a game.
But Moss, RE7,
mm-hmm.
I think there's 1 or 2 more. But the thing with the Vive is it's an open platform, so anyone can just make a game, and some of them are good.
Yeah, and that's true. And then anything that comes to Steam VR or whatnot, that also goes into, you can use it with the Vive. So, I mean, like I said, if you have the computer to run it and you like VR stuff, it's worth it. Certainly, it's the best experience you're going to have with VR because it's going to look the best as well. But hey, it lets you play 30 games. This is what the Vive port thing is.
Yeah.
So, and you get that for 6 months. So I guess that's worth it too. Just wanted to throw that out there. Neither one of us have a VR machine at all, but I've wanted to try it. Just don't want to spend that kind of money either. So.
They can afford it. My computer actually is good enough to run that, HTC Vive, but I just don't have the money for it.
Right. Of course, the movie just came out on Thursday. It's not been getting that great reviews, but along with that, Square-Enix decided, hey, we have a movie. Let's go ahead and announce that Shadow of the Tomb Raider is in fact for real, and it's coming September 14th, so not that far from now. A PS4, Xbox One, and PC all at the same time. No exclusives this time. They basically make it seem like this is Laura's defining moment where she will become the Tomb Raider. So basically, her prehistory would be done after this game, and they're going to show off a lot more of it in almost a month's time, April 27th. And I guess look ready for that. I mean, I know you're a fan of the Tomb Raider games, so
yeah, like I'm looking forward to it. I thought the last two Tomb Raider games have been great, like the best in the series. So
yeah, certainly, and I hope this one gets to basically bookend that whole part of the series well, and this time you don't have to wait around for 6 months or a year to play it. So that's another plus. And then hopefully Square Enix understands that this is probably not going to sell 10 million copies either, and they just keep making games for it.
Yeah. Or they just like spin off Eidos.
Yeah, I wonder, and that's also, you don't have Crystal Dynamics doing this, so it's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be just as good. Because, it's not the same team, so.
I do think that name is kind of dumb, but that's just me.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
So you had Tomb Raider, the
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, and yeah.
It reminded me of some Star Trek Beyond level of name stupidity.
Well, hopefully it can overcome its name and do well enough. I wonder how much they have to do on the movie for it to do decent.
Probably okay, but I can't imagine that movie costs $100 million or anything.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I love the fact that there was actually articles out there having to have the director explain why they couldn't have Angelina Jolie make a cameo. It's like, this is two different kinds of Tomb Raider. Could you imagine if they just had Lara Croft in her original dress just appear out of nowhere in the game too? It's because...
No. Well, that budget, I guess, for the movie was $90 million, and they've already made $126.
Oh, okay. So they don't have to make too much more then.
But
the double.
No, the next Tomb Raider movie, it'll be like Sonic Generations, where it's the meeting of both Lara Crofts teaming up.
Would not put it past them at this point. I'm sure Jolie is still doing movies, if she is, but probably not in the... It has to be like the artsy wheelhouse then, because I've not seen her in really anything in a while.
Yeah.
Another... seems like we haven't talked about this game since they announced it at the Video Game Awards? I think so. Yes, I think that's when it was. The Soul Calibur VI, Geralt from the Witcher series is going to be a character, and there's also going to be a stage. This name.
Don't even try.
Starts with a K, has a second name that starts with an M. KM, let's call it KM. Will be one of the areas in the game, and you'll get to sort of fight with him. So, I mean,
I would say,
cool.
like, the one character that really fit any of the, guest characters for Soul Calibur was Ezio.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Geralt does reasonably fit as well.
Yeah, because he's a sword, and you have the players that do that.
I don't think... I think, like, Link was kind of cool, but he did not fit that art style at all.
No.
And all the other characters have been pretty lame. Like, I guess Spawn was okay at the time, but no.
Right. And then Heihachi, that's just weird. So, I don't think they've done too bad with him, but I think Geralt he doesn't have a lot of things he could be in. Like Smash does not seem like something would make sense for him to show up in, but then of course you have had Snake, so I guess all bets are off at that point, but...
Yeah, but also Metal Gear has been on Nintendo consoles before, Witcher is not.
Right, but his character is just different looking than the other characters, right? So, Of course, then they had Cloud, so that also tore that into shreds there too. The Witcher, it's a series people love, and it makes sense. It's sort of in that sort of same realm as Soul Calibur, so it all makes sense. I think that's cool just to get to see him in a different game. And going along with another Japanese company here, they have Yakuza, of course, with the Yakuza game coming out soon. They have the Yakuza 2 Kiwami remaster coming to the West on... Is it... When's it coming out? Do they even know when?
I think April, or no, it can't be that soon.
Okay, April 17th is when the 6 is coming out.
Yeah.
It's probably, I would say, the
August 28th.
Okay, that's when the first one, around when the first one came out, right? So, yeah. Are you excited to play the second game?
Maybe. I guess it really will depend on what... For me, it'll depend really on what they do with the battle system. Because Yakuza 0 was great, because he had, 3 different styles with each character. Kiwami 1 is bad, I thought. The battle system was kind of just not fun. But Yakuza 6 battle system is a lot better. You can only have one style, but it's a lot more physics-based and easier.
Mm.
And Kiwami 2 is supposed to use the Dragon engine from Yakuza 6. So if it's just that same battle system, sure.
Yeah, you get to do more with Majima this time around, it seems like. He gets a whole story.
Yeah, he has a separate campaign or something.
That's
Which
good.
is weird. The one weird thing in Yakuza 6 is how little he is in that game. He is in it for the opening cinematic and the end cinematic, and that's it.
Really? Oh, that's sad. I guess that also means he's on the way out too with Kiryu.
Maybe.
So.
Well, he doesn't go away, so I doubt it.
But maybe I think that's cool though. I think that at least the people that are wishing they could play with him in the newer games, you get to go back and play with him in the older games. So there's a plus there.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be $50, so you get the $10 off for being an older game.
Well, yeah, but it's still $20 more than Yakuza Kiwami, but they're also adding a bunch more, so I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, that helps. When you add more content, you usually pay more, but hopefully it makes the second game a bit more worth it. Of course, Sega, their main guy is Sonic, and he had Sonic Mania come out last year, and that got a lot of praise from everything from the gameplay to the art style to the soundtrack. So why wouldn't you release a physical version of Sonic Mania? Of course, they did release a Sonic physical version with a collector's edition, but you didn't get an actual physical version of the game. You got a digital copy. This Plus version is going to have holographic packaging, a 32-page art book, a reversible cover, making it look like it was the Genesis game, which that's kind of cool. And yeah, it's going to come to Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, so that's pretty cool for people who really love Sonic Mania or didn't get to pick it up last year. You can get your retail version. Yeah, there you go. You can get that if you.
So hopefully, I'll get it for review some point.
Yeah.
What's funny about this is I showed my friend the screenshot of Sonic and the other two characters, the armadillo and the squirrel.
Mm.
And she looked at the characters, and she looked at the armadillo, and she's like, "That's Sonic." And I was like, "No, it just looks like Sonic." And then she was like, "What are these two characters?" She didn't have any frame of reference because they are from so far ago. They're before Sonic the Hedgehog was Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean, that's cool that they're adding that, but then you also,
if you ask most people who are Sonic's friends, they would say Knuckles or Tails. They wouldn't say the armadillo and the the flying squirrel. Like, who the fuck are these characters?
Yeah, no, I mean, you'd get, like, even from, I think the Dreamcast was the first one to introduce the other ones, like Amy and Big Cat and some of the other ones, but...
Amy was, like, quasi-introduced in Sonic CD, but yeah, I mean, as, like, a playable character, or, like, someone you cared about, yeah, the Sonic Adventure was, like, when they started introducing, like, the menagerie of Sonic characters that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah, that they then use in all of the spin-off games.
That are all terrible. So it's like that might tell you something. No one cares about Shadow the Hedgehog for damn good reason.
Yep, I do not have. I have a pop of Eggman and Sonic and Supersonic. I don't have one for Shadow. I also never really played the Shadow games either. I know there's some people that like Shadow, but I don't really consider him like the Sonic canon or whatever. So. There's that. I think, speaking of spin-offs, though, people have asked about this game, and they've asked about it enough to warrant Sega making a sequel, Sonic All-Stars Racing. Of course, this one have the subtitle of Transformed, and it seems like it's coming. So, cool, I guess. Yeah. Everybody keeps talking about Crash Team Racing, you get Sonic Racing.
Well, there have been two Sonic racing games already. Like the first one, and then Transformed is the second one. So this is a third.
Oh, a sequel to Transformed. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Bad me, not reading well.
I mean, sure, I guess. Like they're not the greatest kart racers, but I guess they're a decent, an alternative to Mario Kart. But most people just play Mario Kart if they can.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Sega hasn't been known for...
You can't play Mario Kart on PS4, I guess, so right. This is the only alternative.
Exactly. You can't play on Xbox One or PS4 or PC, so... I guess you can play with the Sonic characters that most of them you don't care about.
Yeah.
But why not? They have to sell decently enough, right, for them to keep making them?
I mean, yeah, but the last one was like 5 years ago at least.
Right. Yeah, there's also the time thing as well. A game that I guess that I just saw this morning that neither one of these play these series. That's why I didn't really put it down for us to talk about. But the Warriors of Orochi 4 coming, and that's also, we haven't seen that since 2012. So I guess they felt like they needed to have another one. Probably also because Dynasty Warriors was so bad that they didn't get people's attention off that. But
yeah.
Well, the classic stuff is also a priority for Sega. They've made many collections over their time. I had one of the first ones for the 360 that was only Sonic games. I don't remember what that was called, but they've made several in the past, including last year that Flashback console came out, which got a lot of flack, not just for the games, but the way that the console was made and everything else. The interesting thing is, since 2009, when you had the Sonic Ultimate Collection, which also included other games that were not Sonic, you haven't had Sonic Hedgehog with Sonic 3, because apparently Michael Jackson contributed some music to Sonic 3, and there's a licensing problem with that. Sega, why wouldn't you have made sure that you own the rights to the song? I don't know.
Well, they could always just replace that one song. I mean, it might upset some fans, but they're weird, so...
But that's the thing, though, like, if you're going to release a Sega the Genesis collection, and you're not going to include 3, and that's the main reason why you're not including 3, that's weird.
Yeah. But you have to wonder, like, why, when they made that SNES flashback, SNES Classic, they didn't put Chrono Trigger on there, and they put, like, Secret of Mana on there instead. It's like,
especially when you knew Secret of Mana was already getting a remaster.
or
So-
why they didn't put like Donkey Kong 2 or 3, Country 2 and 3 on there, or there's weird stuff.
I just don't know why Nintendo doesn't. I guess they'd have to increase the price, right? Or if they do that, they'd also leave it even more open to get hacked. But why they don't release like a way for them to, you can plug in this thing and you can expand the amount of games that you have. That's
well, I
weird.
mean, pretty much the week after that thing came out, it was hacked, so it wouldn't.
Yeah, but Nintendo themselves could do it and try to make a little bit more money. I don't
I think the Neo Geo X tried to do that, but it didn't go anywhere.
I just if you brought in say 10 more games or something like that, and included Chrono Trigger and the 2 Donkey Kong games, I bet people would buy that. But you'd also have the people that'd be like, "Oh, why didn't you just include those?"
Yeah, like me.
So, this one has a lot of games. Has the most games out of all the other collections, even the flashback. So you get Gunstar Heroes, which was not in the previous two. One of them from 2009, by the way. Which that's one of my favorite ones from Genesis. Landstalker. You don't get the Mortal Kombat games, so there's that, I guess. Some of the ones that are missing from the one from last year, I don't think that it's really a big deal, other than you don't get Sonic and Knuckles either, which people might really want that. You do get all the Streets of Rage games, Revenge of Shinobi, which I always liked as well, the Toe Jam games. So, yeah, I mean, would you want to pick this up on May 29th? Or?
No, because I have most of this crap already on Steam.
There is that too.
Which does have Sonic 3 and Knuckles, by the way, so there you go.
Do you think there's a reason why they didn't have this come out on Switch? I mean, seems like anytime you have a classic collection, Switch is the destination.
Nah, I mean, it'll probably come out, let's say that. It might just have to work on the game, the controller support maybe, but
yeah, it might be that this is still, because there's stuff coming out, right, that was being made before the Switch became popular. So they were making this with the intention of, okay, well, whatever Nintendo makes, it's going to be like the Wii U, and we don't have to make anything for it. And then now that they're having to rethink that, or that's why you have them come to the Switch later, like Okami and all that, because they'd have to delay production on the other systems to make it come out on Switch at the same time. I wonder sometimes if they just want to make a big deal about it later when it comes to Switch, or if I'm just getting very, very hesitant about the whole Nintendo and the Virtual Console thing. Like, the more time passes, I wonder if maybe they're just not doing it, or it's such a low priority for them that they're just going to have that come out whenever the hell they feel like it, or I don't know.
Probably the second one. You would think that'd be easy, but apparently not, because they continually screwed up.
They also might be waiting to see if the Xbox, the Game Pass thing takes off, right? Because Sea of Thieves comes out tomorrow, or is it out today, or it's out this week?
I think tomorrow, because you normally do it Tuesday.
So yeah, I mean, I think if that takes off with Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 or something, then maybe Nintendo will think about, okay, well, maybe we should make the Virtual Console like Game Pass.
That was a rumor, and originally they said they were going to do that.
So, who knows? But they are obviously, they don't need it either. I think with the Wii U, there was a reason of, okay, well, we kind of have to have this to offset some things, whereas the Switch, they're doing fine with the games they got, so there's no need to introduce the classic stuff at this point. Not to mention, SNES Classic, NES Classic, they want those things to sell too. So, you have, of course, I did mention State of Decay 2. The special edition apparently comes without the game. So
that old chestnut.
I guess they want you to get Game Pass. I don't know why you would.
Well, it comes with a steel book, so you can buy the game separately and put the disc in that. It's like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are going to do that.
It also comes with a 4 gig USB thumb drive in the shape of a severed thumb. That's what we all wanted, right?
Gotta love a thumb drive from 10 years ago.
Do people use thumb drives anymore, other than unless you're like in the office? I mean,
sure, people can, but who the fuck is 4 gigabytes? Like, who the fuck cares about that?
Yeah, like, what are you saving on there?
You make it 32 or something at least. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're just using it to save pictures, that's gonna go quick. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Fallout person, so I don't know how big a deal it is that there was going to be a Fallout 3 mod put into Fallout 4, but it got canceled.
It was cool because Fallout 3 had a better story and better gameplay, or better, ideas.
Right.
Yeah, there's a mod that was getting made, but they talked to Bethesda and or they talked to a lawyer about it, and the lawyer was like, "Don't do it," because they were going to use the voice files from Fallout 3 in this mod, and they're like, "You can get sued. Don't do it."
Because those people are not getting paid for that. So,
which it would have been nice. I guess it would have been a good thing if Bethesda was just like, "We'll give you the rights. We'll okay this." But we're gonna you make the mod, we'll sell it, and split the difference with you, or split it with you, or something. That would have been a good community thing, because Fallout 4 is they still have their stupid paid mod thing that goes nowhere.
Yeah, I just don't think a lot of people are going, "No, let me use that."
Yeah,
right now.
I can pay $4 for this power armor. Really? Well, I can just buy it. I can just go get it for free on Nexus mods. Which one am I going to do?
Yeah, why people are going to keep spending money they don't need to? But
if Bethesda was like, we're either this mod or this, or we're gonna remake Fallout 3 with Fallout 4's engine. It'll be $10 or $20. I'd actually probably buy that.
Yeah, they should. You'd think that they would do that, but who knows?
Yeah. I was also pretty disappointed with Fallout 4. So
I've heard a lot of people were very disappointed with Fallout 4.
The story was bad. The gameplay was fine. The story was bad.
That's always... I mean, as much as that game was hyped, and then I felt like the drop-off with people playing that was big. So, let's, sadly, not... Well, you're not getting the better game, but hey, you can still play it. It's not too expensive out there. It's backwards compatible for Xbox One if you have that. So,
yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of more people have PS4s and all that, so you'd have to play it on your PS3, which is then the one that had the problems. So there's that too, I guess.
Well, if you're gonna play Fallout 3, just play it on PC.
Yeah, most PCs should be able to run that at this point.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, is it a big deal that you have a special edition that comes without the game? I mean, you think we see this more often now, or?
Well, it's happened a few times. I think there's been there was some game that had a $200 special edition that didn't come with the damn game.
Wow! So you're really asking people to pay for $250 for your game?
$260.
Jeez, that's. The crazy thing is people buying those. Like, really? Okay. You wanted your statue that badly?
Let's see. Yeah, there was some I think Battlefront 1 didn't come with the game, and the collection was, or the edition was $130.
So almost. Did that include the DLC at least?
Included. Let's see. I can look it up real quick. Included. No, or included Messenger Pigeon Tube containing exclusive DLC for a game, but not the game.
Okay. Wow.
And included 14-inch statue, cloth poster, deck of playing cards, like a iron knot, like a patch to sew, and steelbook case for the game, but it doesn't have the game.
Man, that's a lot of stuff, though. So, I mean, if you really wanted all that, I guess.
I guess it comes with a deck of playing cards. You can make better games with that, like poker or Go Fish or something. The Battlefield 1. So
there is that, of course. Speaking of getting games here, Twitch Prime is now getting free games. Of course, this is one of the perks you get for having Amazon Prime, which I just got for the first time last month. Comes in pretty handy when you are buying things, and the Prime Video thing is pretty decent. So, they've been doing this, I think, for a few months, but it's not been.
They've been doing it like sporadically. Like I think a week or two ago, they had like Devil May Cry 1 for free,
which you can still actually get till April 3rd, apparently.
Yeah, but it's a bad port of a game. So
are these all for Steam? I'm guessing.
No, they are for Twitch's stupid launcher thing. It's not for Steam. If it was for Steam, it'd be useful. But they want to sell, like Twitch wants to sell games through their marketplace.
Oh boy!
So it's like, all right, well, aside from SteamWorld Dig 2, I'm never gonna care about this thing at all. So there you go.
I will say that the games they have on here, aside from now one of them, it doesn't really. If you have all the systems, is kind of pointless because at some point Oxenfree has been free on Xbox and PS4. Mr. Shifty is a really good game. If you, for some reason, haven't bought it yet, that's a reason to have this because it's a really good game. Super Hot is on Xbox One for free right now, so that's kind of pointless unless you don't have an Xbox One. Then maybe, but Shadow Tactics, I have no idea how that plays.
I've heard it's a good game, but
and Tales from the Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation, which is a Dungeons and Dragons game. So there's that, I guess, and apparently next month you get Tales from the Borderlands, which is really good, but that's also coming for free on like every system at this point. SteamWorld Dig 2, Kingsway, which is fine, Tokyo 42, which is also a pretty good indie game. I don't think that's come for free on anything yet, and Dub Wars. So I guess if you want to have another thing with free games this is on your PC only, I'd assume, right? Not available on the consoles. So
no, because half these games are like RTSs or something. So
yeah, I guess you can have that too. Have one for your PC where you have free games. So.
I would rather just give me a Steam code for SteamWorld Dig 2.
That would also be much more lovely than having another Portal thing you've got installed on your PC.
Yeah,
but you think this could get people to? Let's say you're only a gamer. And you've been wanting to get a reason to get Twitch Prime, and you're a streamer or something. Do you think having free games is a way to get people to buy this? I mean,
Well, I mean, not really, because I think it's just like an added benefit. But I don't think anyone's gonna go like, "Oh man, I can now get super hot for through the Twitch launcher. Gotta go blow $100 on that."
Yeah. I mean, technically, you can also pay $12 a month, so there's that too. But
I mean, but but between the two, like, compare this to like, oh, let me check it out real quick. Humble Bundles monthly thing, where if you spend $12, you get, like, for this month, you get Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, God Eater 2, and Mafia 3.
Wow,
It's like, tough call.
that's some pretty damn good games for $12.
And last month it was Dark Souls 3, last day of June, and like a bunch of other kind of smaller stuff. But like that's the whole thing is you get one big game and then like a bunch of smaller games, but they're still good.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, February. Oh, go on.
No, I'm just saying. See, there's other better options there.
And you get Steam codes for these games.
Yeah, don't have to download another launcher. Don't have to be like Origin where you got to download that thing, and
In February for $13, you got Civilization 6, Owlboy, Snake Pass, and what is it? Tacoma and Life is Strange.
Wow. See, if I played games on my PC, that's something to go get right now.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of things you might be able to get later, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remaster has a listing on Amazon Italy, and
where all the games break.
Well, I mean, this happens, right? They have a $20 euros price,
yeah, so
which would be $25.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound too bad, because that's about what the first one was when you got it with Infinite Warfare. So, I guess it could be real, but everybody kept saying, or we talked about maybe it's Black Ops 2. Looks like they're just doing Modern Warfare 2, possibly. And also, Splinter Cell has a listing on the Canadian Amazon. It just says Splinter Cell 2018. I mean, there is talk about Ubisoft has a lot of stuff on their plate, but they do talk about the fact that there's been talk about doing it. So it's been a while. It's been 5-6 years.
5, because Blacklist was 2013, I think.
So it's long enough for it to be gone. And I mean, Ubisoft loves having Tom Clancy stuff make money for them. Division 2 just got announced. Rainbow Six Siege is making dough. Wildlands was one of the higher sellers last year. You're playing it. So having another Tom Clancy game to be able to throw out there, I don't think that's... And it's different than those games, right? It's a stealthy game.
Yeah.
So, which, with Metal Gear being where it is, where you don't know if that's coming back ever to the way it was.
No.
There's a hole in gaming for that, so maybe Splinter Cell can come take it up. Do you think we see both of these or one of these, or?
I could see another Splinter Cell. Like, sure. Like, I mean, it's been a while, and I think like the success of Hitman is probably the biggest reason. The only problem is I don't see how you really monetize Splinter Cell, because they do have a multiplayer, but it's not as fully featured as like Siege is. Like, it's not about like buying, classes or whatever. And they might have DLC, but I just don't see it. Like, Ubisoft seems to want to like long-term support games, which is a good, it's noble of them, but I don't see how we do that with Splinter Cell that well. But that's just me.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's, yeah, like you said, it's been long enough. Did you like the Splinter Cell games?
The only two I liked, Conviction was okay, but Blacklist was like the good one to me, and that's the one that bombed.
I've never really been a stealth game person, so
that's why Blacklist was good, because you could go stealthy, but you also just had a drone that could take out anything.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Well, we'll have to see. I'd imagine that's possibly the. Although I'm sure Ubisoft will not appreciate this too much. Maybe that was the and one more thing from Ubisoft, but might have got leaked already. This happens.
Yeah.
And we're almost 3 months away from E3. It's kind of early, but shoot, we've seen whole conferences get leaked like a week before, so it's nothing totally new. Of course, there's also Amazon listings, so it could mean absolutely nothing, but a lot of times when we see Amazon listings, eventually the game does come out. So.
Right.
V-Rally is coming back after 16 years of not being around. V-Rally 4, being a Big Band Interactive and Kyloton Racing Games. Yeah, I mean, V-Rally 3 was on the PS2. That shows you how long ago that was. This is going to have a ton of different stuff. Online career mode. There's tracks from Africa and Japan. It has the V-Valley Cross stuff in it. There's buggy versions of the cars as well. And it comes out in September. So, I know you like the dirt games. I don't know if you're a...
I never even heard of V-Rally.
Fan,
so.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard of them, but it's like one of those when you're going through at a store and you see the box.
Yeah.
And that's it. But, yeah, I mean, it's cool. Franchise comes back, and I don't know what they expected to do, gangbusters or anything, but if it does well enough, then go them. We're not done with racing games, though, because The Crew 2 now officially has a release date, June 29th, 2018. Of course, this one is the one that includes all the different, you don't just race cars, you race planes and boats and everything else. You can also get a $110 special edition. So, which gets you a license plate, a gold book, the season pass, and you can also get a deluxe pack, which has the Ford F-150 Raptor race truck in it, and a map. So, yeah, I know we sort of made jokes about the Crew 2 with all the different vehicles. Well, when they, announced it at E3, but do you feel any differently about?
No, I just hope it's better than Crew 1, because that didn't seem like a good game. And I guess it'd be nice to have for like the PS4 to have like a Forza Horizon alternative.
Yeah, I think what I remember is that you're going to have, it's supposed to be a team thing. Like the people that you're playing with, they will each have one of the different crafts. And that's how that works. It's not that you're going to have a section where you're going to get in a car and then you're going to get in the boat and then you're going to, get in the plane or whatever. You'll will all be doing that as a team trying to get through whatever mission it is. So I guess if it promotes team play, then that's cool.
The bummer is what if you don't have a team?
Well, then you're fucked then. I don't...
Yeah. That was that was one of Unity's problems. It's like you can play co-op Assassin's Creed, and it's like I don't want to.
Yeah. It's like, is the AI gonna suck or?
Well, no, because you're just gonna play the mission. It was like, okay, well, I guess I can't play all these stupid missions that are like requires 2 to 4 players.
Yeah. Well, I'd assume it's going to be the same way, but you never know. Maybe you just figure out a different system so that you don't have that problem. The Devil May Cry, Hideki Kamiya is once again talking about remaking the first Devil May Cry. He says that the next DMC game could do with a full model change, like the new God of War. Perhaps.
Didn't they already do that with DMC?
I thought that was just like a prequel.
No, that was supposed to be that was like a reboot.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe this is just the creator just saying, "Hey."
Well, also, he doesn't work at Capcom anymore, so that's one hitch, and he had a pretty acrimonious split from Capcom.
Sometimes they mention stuff and they just want it to get people talking about it just to see if they can make it happen, and nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
So that could be all that is, but hey, once again, you can get an HD remaster of the first game until April 3rd on that Twitch Prime thing. So, or you can pick up the whole HD collection came out last week, I guess.
I didn't like those early Devil May Cry games.
It's not something totally on my list either. Maybe if it comes to like PS Plus or something, I'm all for that. Battlefront 2 is getting not microtransactions, but cosmetic boxes. Okay. This is basically like EA trying to, how can we get some extra money from this game without pissing people off again? They are getting a big update as well.
Well,
so
it's funny they're doing this when they had the whole thing about like, we couldn't do cosmetic options because Disney wouldn't let us, or would break canon or crap like that.
Like, you can't just make sure that what's in those boxes doesn't break canon?
I think some jackass at EA is like, you can't have like a pink Darth Vader running around. It's like,
yes, you can.
It's like, okay, well, we can have Darth Vader teamed up with Kylo Ren, teamed up with Emperor Palpatine, going. That makes perfect sense, you idiot.
Well, people are just going to mod in a pink Darth Vader anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I get it. Like, Disney's very protective, right? So I could see where Disney said, okay, no, we can't have cross-generation items or whatnot. But again, like, you can section off the cosmetic boxes, right? So depending on what hero you have on you at the moment determines what cosmetic boxes you can get or whatnot. There's ways around that. It just seems like the system that they had originally was a lot more simpler for them to do, and they could adjust the price whenever they wanted to. So of course they're going to go with that instead of doing this. The cosmetic boxes come back in a couple of days. Or they show up in a couple of days along with the big update. So cool. I think this is too late though. I think all this updating the progression and trying to make it better and all that's like, this is not gonna save your game. I think people just, at this point, if you're still playing it, great. If not, you've moved on. I don't know. Do you think that this is gonna do something?
I would say too little, too late. Like, people don't care about Battlefield 2.
Yeah, it's not like Battlefront 2 is special or anything. There are games like this already.
Battlefront, yeah, whatever.
It's just
same thing.
Yeah, it's same company. It's fine.
That's what happens when you have a fucking franchise named Battlefront and Battlefield. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's good. Trust me, I have heard so many people mess that up, and they go the entire podcast saying Battlefield, and they go, Oh, Battlefront. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
The Star Wars one and the military one.
Yeah. Dota 2, or Valve, has introduced a new sort of battle pass called Dota Plus. Not that either one of us played Dota here, but it's worth mentioning. It's an ongoing, uninterrupted service. It's going to cost $4 a month. It has perks. Each character now gains XP and can level up across the games, which is kind of cool, I guess. There's a new hero chat wheel. It also has a Plus Assistant, which provides helpful information and all that stuff for you to stay up to date on the ever-evolving meta. So, that's cool.
Sure. It's only $4, which is nice, but I don't care about Dota 2, so...
Yeah, I think it's supposed to take over for another system that they already had. And...
Well, they're ditching compendiums, so...
Yes. Okay.
This is like the replacement to that. And it'll probably generate more money for Valve, but...
What this is all for, basically. So, I mean, we'll see if they ever ship those games, right?
Yeah.
But getting into something I mentioned earlier, which I don't know if you... I have several great memories of this store, and especially when I was a kid, because it was one of those things where my grandpa would just say, go into Toys R Us, and back then they had the wall of games, and you would grab the paper, and you could take the paper up to the register and pay for it, and they give it to you.
Yeah.
And it felt like you were actually part of the buying process instead of, all right, well, my dad had to get the game that they grabbed out of the case for me and all this stuff. It felt like, the Willy Wonka thing. So, do you have any memories of Toys R Us or going there?
Not really. I used to go there as a kid, but yeah, I guess it's a shame it's going out of business, but because it's not their fault necessarily.
Yeah, the people that knew it was in debt were basically just servicing themselves and not the store, which is a shame. But they're not the first people to do that. So,
is it? Let me ask you this. And this is going to be kind of morbid. Do you think it's weird that Kmart has lasted longer than Toys R Us?
Yes, I do. Think it's weird that Kmart lasted longer than Toys R Us. I feel like it's also because they're probably not in $6 million in debt either. There's probably debt, but there's not debt like that. It's also, like you said, this is not totally their fault. A lot of this has to do with the people that they hired to do all of this, hey, the bankruptcy and all this whatever, did not handle this the right way.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, here's another thing is, what other toy stores are out there anymore?
The mom and pop ones, that's pretty much it.
I mean, you say that, but there was a long-running mom and pop one around here. It was like let me check it, let me see if I can find it.
Well, I mean, the comic book stores are starting to sell things too, so...
It was called there's one around here called the Doll Hospital and Toy Soldier Shop. It was a very retro, they didn't sell video games there. They sold dolls, wooden toys, educational toys, stuff like that. And it lasted for 65 years. And it's closing next month. Because of changing trends for kids. Kids don't play with toys that much anymore.
No.
And retail, Amazon's killing them, or not Amazon specifically, but online.
Right, online, Walmart and Target having other things, people already going there to shop, and I think it's mostly online. But Toys R Us, their thing, it's not really that much Amazon, even though Amazon really undercut them. Like, there was a lot of the exclusives that Toys R Us had, not just Funko, but other Hasbro, Mattel, all that stuff. They got a deal to also sell Toys R Us exclusives, and then they were competing against Toys R Us. So that doesn't help either. Like I mentioned, the problem with the way that they did the liquidation, the way that they basically they were paying interest payments the entire time they made money. They weren't actually any money that was being gained from the store from this liquidation or whatever was going on was not being put back into the stores themselves. So you're basically just having higher up people take the money to pay their own debts and pay their own bills and not the Toys R Us bill. So
I mean, you have a small daughter, but when was the last time you went to a toy store? Oh, you went to Toys R Us.
I've gone to Toys R Us with her. Well, see, the thing is too, Toys R Us. There's my closest Toys R Us is like 30 minutes away.
Okay,
I would go there when I was leaving Kmart because it's right close to there.
Yeah.
I've taken Anaya a couple of times. The problem with Toys R Us also is that they are higher priced than other places. So,
like, I have like a local Toys R Us by me that's like 10 minutes away, and you walk in there and it's just depressing. Like,
yeah,
it's better. It's better than Kmart, because Kmart, like, I don't know about your store when you worked there, but like the one by me, it was like from the 70s. You walk in there,
my store is really old. Yeah,
you walked in there, and you feel like you're gonna get mugged. But like the Toys R Us felt like a little brighter, but it didn't feel like a new store, or it didn't feel like that well, like, planned out or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right about them just not investing in like their the stores.
Well, I think also they, the pricing thing, like they were a lot higher than other stores. Obviously, look, electronics, that's all going to be the same. So we can't judge if you go in there to buy a video game or whatever that it's higher. But, and then, you also got GameStops and EB Games that are around that take away people going to Toys R Us, where Toys R Us used to be the place you go to because they had more games than Walmart or Target or, all the other big chain stores. Now you have a GameStops. You don't need to go to Toys R Us for that. So where Toys R Us you do need to go for their, the Legos. A lot of the Legos are being sold in Walmart. But even the small, like let's say you're going to Toys R Us because they're going to have the toy that you want for your kid if they still play with toys. Toys R Us also has an online shop now, which isn't the greatest thing in the world either. Amazon is around. That makes it really easy to where it just goes straight to your house. You can, finagle the shipping around to where you can make sure your kid's not there, and you can, wrap it up and whatever. And a lot of Toys R Us, except for you, a lot of Toys R Us is, because they've decreased in number over the years, they're farther and farther away from where people are. So, you're having to make trips over there. And you're going in there and going, well, I can find this at Walmart for like $20, $30 cheaper. I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
So.
But also, like, a Walmart or Target doesn't have the same amount of stock or,
right.
availability. Because, like, a Walmart will have 5 aisles for toys, maybe.
Right.
Like, typically, like, a girl's aisle, a boy's aisle.
The bikes.
Bikes, like general purpose, and then maybe like board games.
Yeah.
And
they're all small little sections. They're not whole aisles dedicated to, say, WWE, for instance.
Right.
Or,
I guess there's some rumor that like some toy companies are going to like buy out 400 Toys R Us stores and like keep them open.
Right. Because there are Blockbusters still around. There's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
They're still around, right? So Okay, I was there, I want to say a week and a half ago. See, one of the only times I've actually gone into somewhere that wasn't game stuff, because I was going to GameStop or something else, to go just hunt for pops. So I went in there, and this is going to the store that's like 30 minutes away from me, and it was empty. It was sort of empty. There was nobody really there. This is before, now they're a lot busier because the news has hit that they're closing all the stores. Before it was, we're closing 200 stores. So you still have, half of that Toys R Us is also a Babies R Us, which that also started happening too. You had Toys R Us's that were not even Babies R Us's that were starting to have diapers and other things that for babies that would take up sections of the store because the toys weren't selling.
The Toys R Us by me, like basically the back of the store is like a mini Babies R Us or something. It's
right.
Kind of weird.
So, I went in there and they had they even had them spread out to their own, like where the WWE aisle is, they had WWE Pops there. Where they had a Marbles aisle, they had Marble Pops there, and then they had their huge section that was like an entire thing in the back of the store that was just that. Because that's one of the biggest things in toys right now. Like, I remember when Skylanders was huge. Oh my god, the entire front of the store was Skylanders from wall to wall. And I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy, And Disney Infinity had their little section and whatever, I think that was the last thing. That thing also hurt them too, because that was not... eventually they weren't selling as well, and they ordered so many of those things. Like, they were dying for people to buy those. Same thing happened with the Amiibo. Those things were so... I remember walking in there, and they were slashed. The prices were slashed because they were dying people to buy those, So, of course, my Toys R Us is not discussing other Toys R Us's. This is also in like a suburb part of Miami. It's not even Miami proper, so
well, then it doesn't count.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm more sad about the 33,000 jobs that are getting lost, and for some cities, Toys R Us is like one of the big stores in there, and now you're like, where else do I freaking work?
Yeah.
So, and this is affecting the ones in the UK are already closing. The ones here in the United States will liquidate, slowly. The ones in Australia apparently are going to. Who knows what's happening with those? And the ones in Canada, I think, are one of the ones that have the buyer that might buy like 200 stores or something like that. So we'll see what happens.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's the last big toy store that's a chain. So you're basically your mom and pops, your comic book stores, all those.
Time to bring back KB Toys.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, that's that's why I haven't seen too many like toy announcements lately, because I think people are trying to respect the fact that Toys R Us is closing. So, and I think, like, as far as I heard, like Hasbro and Mattel are freaking out. Like, they're really scared about what does this mean for us, because Toys R Us was one of the ones that were buying a lot of their stuff. So this could affect them.
Yeah, but if Lego can open up a shop, Hasbro and Mattel can form together and open up a shop as well.
They could. Maybe they'll finally merge. That's been like going on forever, it seems like. How many times have they tried to buy each other?
Yeah.
So that could cause that to happen finally. Well, we talk about Toys R Us and Amazon, of course. Seems like they have infinite amount of money with all the buys that they get, and now they're still having people fight over where their second HQ is going to be. I don't know how many cities are still in the running for that. They paid $250 million to get the license for Lord of the Rings. Well, it could actually cost them over $500 million to actually air the first two seasons of the series. So that is a lot of freaking money.
Something that is not needed. It's not like the movies were bad. Like
the movies are basically the whole books almost.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, hell, the Hobbit movies, they were introducing stuff that wasn't from the books because they had to, like, spread it out.
Yeah, and then you have the extended versions. It's like, why do you need anything else?
Yeah.
You know? Look, if they want to spend, that's their money, right? Like, but it's just, this is crazy. Do you really need to compete with Game of Thrones and stuff like that? Especially when Game of Thrones is ending.
Also, I'm just not interested in... I mean, I don't like fantasy stuff to begin with, really, but I'm not interested in a Lord of the Rings TV show.
I do want to know how many people really are. Like, Game of Thrones was different because you hadn't had anything on Game of Thrones when that came out, right?
Well,
and then,
Game of Thrones is also different because there are multiple viewpoints.
Right.
Lord of the Rings is following fucking Frodo for, as he makes his way to the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, you have your other characters that you can branch off and see what they're doing or whatever, right? That's the thing, though. Like, even though you had just the books, you didn't have something that chronologized Game of Thrones in visual media before. With Lord of the Rings, you already have movies that were great, won Academy Awards.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah.
Yeah, like... I know you said that, but it's just like, you don't... What are you going to cover that hasn't been covered already? Like, and some of the people that played those characters, I mean, like, when I think of Gandalf, I think of Ian McKellen. Like, I'm not going to think of somebody else. So, I mean, even though I think he's talked about he might come back to play it in the TV show, whatever, because, I mean, what else is he doing? But, like, it's just... I don't know. Would you really want to watch them retell the same thing over again?
Yeah.
I guess maybe. People keep watching Spider-Man retellings, but it's just like...
Well, Spider-Man, first of all, like, you can't compare the two. Because Spider-Man, there are 1,000 issues of Spider-Man, comics and crap like that. Like, it's not just 3 books. Or, 4, technically.
Right, and they were smart with Homecoming, right? Not to just redo the entire thing that we've seen in 2 different movies.
Yeah, they didn't have an intro. They didn't have like the half-hour-long intro scene of him getting his powers and figuring out what they are. You just already had them, and that was it.
They also didn't have the whole Uncle Ben getting killed, right? He was already dead.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like... I don't know. Like, a lot of the stuff that they come out with now is because we don't have something. Like, we didn't really have big... Like, Marvel Cinematic Universe, not only is it because the movies are good, right? But it's also because we don't have, like, a number of movies of all these guys. We don't have that, so having that makes people interested. You don't... What are you going to retell in Lord of the Rings that we haven't consumed in some way or another? It's just weird. But Amazon, you want to use your money, I guess, go ahead. So 20th anniversary of Buffy has been around, happened, and Fox, of course, in their wanting to have things that get attention for their network, has come out and said that if Joss Whedon wants to, will redo Buffy. Would you want that to... I know you like the series, so would you be down for that?
I think it could be interesting if they did like an adult version of Buffy. Like if it was on like Netflix or like FXX or like, very mature, like, and like horror, I guess. But that's about it.
Would they do it on not Fox? Because then Fox wouldn't get the money, right? Because Disney now owns FX. Or that merger goes through.
They could do it on Netflix, like, or Amazon Prime or something. I mean, they just pay for it, obviously.
Right.
Or if they made 13 episodes and shopped it around, that's how you do it. But you're obviously not going to get like Sarah Michelle Gellar back or anything like that.
Well, I don't think you need to. I think the whole point is to do it with different characters now. But
yeah,
do you think that Joss Whedon would do it though?
No, because I think he likes to move on, or kind of go forward, and also like his kind of sexual harassment stuff might make that kind of awkward.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't help things. I mean, the fact that Fox is even mentioning him with that going on is interesting. But
I think if they tried, I think he kind of co-owns the character, so I don't think they can make a Buffy series like themselves.
Okay.
Or if they did, like even if Fox owned them, if they said we're going to do Buffy without Joss Whedon, people would be up in arms.
Yeah, it would not be the same. I think they did say that they try to do it with the original creators, writers, all that in mind anyway. So, I mean, I guess go for them, right? They're not just sitting there whoring out the... I mean, I guess they could have said, okay, well, we own X-Files or something. We're just going to do it because we feel like it. And they didn't. They brought Chris Carter back to...
Yeah, but that was to its detriment, if anything.
Yeah.
So this just broke. I don't know if you saw it, but if they make a season 4 of Legends of Tomorrow, I guess Constantine's going to be a main character.
Oh, cool!
Like he'll join the cast.
I've been waiting for Constantine to be in something.
Well, he's going to be in like tonight's episode as a guest character, but like they haven't renewed Legends of Tomorrow yet. But you have to imagine they will.
I'm about to say, doesn't it do well?
It does okay. Like it doesn't do as well as like The Flash, but I think it's a better show than The Flash as well. So that helps.
Well, let's hope it keeps going. That's one thing that DC has gotten right is their TV stuff for sure. Sony. Speaking of Sony, Spike Lee might direct the Night Watch movie. Okay. I still don't know why we're making a movie on Night Watch, but...
I don't even know who Night Watch is. So there you go. I assume some black superhero.
So, Dr. Kevin Trench, who appeared in Spider-Man number 97, he saw a costume man die fighting terrorists, and he apparently steals that costume to wear for himself. He time travels as well. So
okay.
And he's teamed up with Spider-Man, Captain America, Deathlock, and some others in the comics before. So to throw this in there with the Venom movie, the Silver and Black movie that's been delayed, and they're apparently making a Morbius Living Vampire movie too.
Yeah, so, that's been rumored for years.
Well, Sony, you keep going then with this. I don't think that they're understanding this is not going to be like the MCU at all. It's like Spider-Man's one thing, and the other characters are a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know that as much as I like some of the villains in Spider-Man, like if they could really have their own movies,
Well, the two best villains were Vulture and Dr. Octopus in the movies, at least.
Right.
And the problem with a lot of Spider-Man or the movies is like it's a whole like going to take over the world plot or something stupid like that.
Mm-hmm.
And those two villains, that wasn't their motivation at all in the movies, and that's why they were better than like Green Goblin.
Right. So I don't know. I feel like at some point Sony will just... Do you think that will Sony will just give up and be like, all right, Marvel, you guys can just have this? Or...
I want them to. I think eventually Sony will sell them Spider-Man back. If anything, like if you give us $1 billion, here's Spider-Man, and here's all the other characters.
Yeah, I could see it happen eventually. Like Disney just says, all right, look.
But Sony will sell them back, but we could keep the Spider-Man font.
yeah, we'll use it for all our PlayStations going forward. The Grudge is getting a reboot. Sam Raimi is producing. Look, I like The Grudge. I'm not saying that you don't remake it or whatever, but I don't know. Just, I guess with horror movies doing pretty well now, I guess why not? But
yeah, but isn't that a Japanese film, like horror film?
The Grudge is
or Korean?
It's a remake of a Japanese horror film from the Ju-on series, but The Grudge has stuff in it that wasn't in the Ju-on series. So,
I mean, we already had our brief flirtation with Japanese horror a decade ago.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, look, I guess you can always start the trend, right? But I don't think this is gonna.
Remember The Ring?
Yeah, well, I remember The Ring freaking me out when I was a kid, but not. I mean, I tried to rewatch it later, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
So, Netflix renewed The Travelers. I don't watch this, so do you?
I do. I was happy. Yeah, that's why I put it on there.
So, I mean, explain to me what makes this a good series to watch.
Well, the basic premise is the future is fucked up. Okay. So people are sending their consciousness back in time to people who are are basically dead. Like, you know, they die and they're trying to fix the future. Or they're trying to alter the present to fix the future.
Oh, that sounds cool. I might have to check that out now.
And like one character, like the team has like one's like a medic, or like one is like a single mother, but she's also like the soldier. So like and they also have to like live the lives of the people they were. That's kind of the hook.
Oh, okay.
So one guy is like, he's a college student, but he's a drug addict. But like the actual person who took him over was like this intellectual historian. But he's still now he's in the body of a drug addict, so all he kind of cares about is heroin.
That's got to be. So what? Like now he loses that intellectually.
No, he still has it, but now he still has it, but now like it's a lot. Well, now he's trying to go against his body's
tendency
desire to
be a drug addict, basically.
Yeah, and like he tries to get cleaned up, but like he's trying to remember something, and then like one of his team just gives him heroin to help him.
God.
And like one other character, she's like the medic, but she's in the body of a woman who is like mentally damaged or retarded.
Oh.
So like she's normal, but like people who knew her back like prior to this are like, when did you get smart, or like what changed, or like stuff like that. But now her brain is like the actual brain is damaged, so she has like glitches essentially.
So is it one of these where, like, if they don't play that character, it's going to change history or something, or?
No, because they're kind of all, like, they're not, like, taking over, like, the president or anything like that. They're just taking over, like, regular people.
Oh.
Yeah. And she's probably my favorite character, actually, like, the mentally handicapped woman.
Like, she's a really good... That's in my list of things to watch.
Yeah, it's only been on for 2 seasons, and it's very Canadian. That's one thing I actually like about shows, like Netflix shows, is it's like, yep, this was filmed in Vancouver, because I recognize like 8 different actors in this show.
It's like, you know where that comes from. Did
you
see speaking of Netflix, you see that Narcos is getting a game?
Okay.
Yeah. That was out of nowhere. Like, okay, people, sure.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, then let's do it. Two last things, just because, hey, I watch anime, why not? One Punch Man Season 2, one of the more popular animes of the last few years, is finally it's confirmed that it's in production, so I'm happy about that. Don't know if it's going to have more than the 12 episodes that the first one had, but that's one of my favorite characters, so hopefully we get more of this series pretty soon. They are changing the people who are doing the animation, so I'm worried about that a little bit, but I'm sure that they'll do fine. And Mob Psycho 100 is also getting a season 2, and Crunchyroll's doing a 1-hour OVA if you haven't watched the original Mob Psycho 100 series. So, and it's done by Studio Bones, who does awesome animation. So, if you haven't ever checked out Mob Psycho 100, you should.
And Dragon Ball Super is ending this week.
Yes, it is. So they're making a movie though, right? Or...
Yeah, that movie's like months out.
Okay. Is that it? Like, then they're not doing another Dragon Ball Super season, or?
For a while, because I think they're going to work in some other TV show. But They were busting out episodes of Dragon Ball Super like crazy. Like, I think the team was just kind of getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's been a pretty consistent clip. So until the week before, where they skipped a week.
I mean, they've skipped weeks. I think they've skipped weeks or like had like a month break here and there, but it has been like super consistent, which is not something you see a lot from animation.
No, well, usually also they already just they know how many episodes they're gonna do a season, and then you're just a weekly grind or whatever, so you get to that. Seems like Dragon Ball Super, they did not have that idea, so they're just doing however many and then going for it. So,
but the show lasted 131 episodes, so that's pretty long.
It's pretty damn long to be that consistent. Because most anime now, it's either 13, 12, 25, 26, and then they go on a huge break.
Yeah, like a year-long break or something.
Like, it took forever for Attack on Titan Season 2 to come out. So, yeah, it's nice that you see that now, that you still have series. Of course, you still have your series that have gone on for, like, ever, like Case Closed and some other ones. But One Piece keeps going, but, those are very rare at this point.
And you have to imagine they aren't quite as bombastic as Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, no. One Piece kind of is, but, like, that's like a rare one at this point.
Yeah.
The rest of them are not. Case Closed is nowhere near what like Dragon Ball Super is. So, all right, there is a nice list of games coming out this week. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. So, the last couple weeks has been one here and there. This one certainly has something for you to check out. If you have a South Park Fractured But Whole, you get, I think this is the last DLC, the From Dust Till Casa Bonita. Then you get the Detective Pikachu for your 3DS. It's called Detective Pikachu Birth of a New Team. You also have, of course, the big game coming out is Ni No Kuni 2. Comes out on Friday. There's also Sea of Thieves, comes out tomorrow, along with Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered that we talked about. I don't know yet if I'm going to do the... because maybe if Austin and Stuart get it and we all play together or something like that, I might get Game Pass for Sea of Thieves, but...
Yeah, if you're gonna play Sea of Thieves, like if you have no one else to play it with, you're gonna not have a good time.
Yeah. It also comes out on PC too, so but you won't get the luxury of getting it for $10 on PC. A Way Out, which is only $30, so that's not too bad. Are you interested in this at all, or?
Sure, if it gets good reviews, then maybe.
Game I've been waiting for, Attack on Titan 2, comes out tomorrow too, so I'm sort of excited for that, but I'll wait. I already know that if we don't get the good word, I will be buying Ni No Kuni 2. I will just wait on Attack on Titan 2 till later. An indie game called Octahedron, which is getting some good publicity, coming out as well. RBI Baseball 18, which I'm sure will be awful. So, there's also that. If you can't wait for the show for some reason. Yeah, there's even an expansion to Ark Survival Evolved. Ark Park. So, I did say there was something for everybody. It seems like this week. So, all right. I should have mentioned the Shantae and the Pirate's Curse coming to Switch. Those Shantae games are always pretty good. So, should check that out. What?
I was gonna say. This also, I guess, just broke either yesterday or today, but there's rumors that KB Toys is coming back.
That just seems such like, one went down. Let's bring up. Now the thing was, KB Toys is inside malls.
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna do that, that could work. But you also have the problem of the malls aren't the places to go that much anymore either.
Right. Well, let's talk about it coming back is both the retail store, retail chain, and then online storefront.
If my only concern with all this is I don't want to see these toy companies really get hurt out of it. That's my only and I don't want to see these 30,000 people lose jobs either. But I think as soon as we started losing certain retail chains, we were going to lose other ones, especially specialty ones. GameStop, I think, has done a great job of trying to stick with the times, right? They have a digital front. You can buy stuff on their digital store. They bought ThinkGeek so that they can have Funko stuff and all the plushies and everything else. Their game stuff keeps getting smaller, but that's just, again, the way with the times of people are buying stuff digitally. But Toys R Us was always going to be hard, I think, for them with how specialized they were. You're the only place selling toys and baby stuff, which you can also buy baby stuff cheaper than there. You can go to Burlington, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Target. Remember they had a Kids R Us at one point where they sold clothes?
Well, they still do. There are some around still.
Yeah, so I just don't want to see all of a sudden Mattel and Hasbro we're gonna have a problem, selling. So I don't want to see that happening much at all. So if KB Toys can come back and kind of take a slice out of what Toys R Us was doing, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, until next week, I don't know if there's supposed to be some big thing that happens this week. I'm not sure what it is. If whatever that's supposed to be goes down, then maybe we'll do something after that, but probably not.
Wasn't there some Xbox gamepad, or not gamepad, Xbox press thing that was supposed to happen?
I think so. There's also some other, I don't think it's Xbox, I think it's some other game or company was going to announce something, I think some point this week. I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that thing's big enough to do a mini podcast, then maybe, but probably Sunday or Monday we'll be here again with my work. Basically my days off are Sunday and Monday, so that's kind of when we're going to be doing this from now on. But thank you again for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can always hit that subscribe button, Video Games to the Max, or subscribe to the whole W2 Network and get everything that we do, whether that's wrestling, football. Now they're doing March Madness podcasts, which that's still going on for another few weeks, and then you have backlog busting still going for, I want to say, at least another couple, or at least another 10 episodes or so before that finally gets to where we're at the point where they stopped. And then you got all the other things that we do. So visit w2net.com. Of course, visit Last Word on Life and 411mania.com as well. And until next week, we'll see you later.
Later.
Ah, dang it. Wait. I forgot that we got to talk about the Game Informer Top 300. Again, we're not talking about all 300 games. That'd be ridiculous. And, you should go read in whatever way that you get Game Informer the whole list for yourself, and then, debate with your friends how you see fit here. So, I said around the top 25. I'm going to say let's go to like the top 30 or so and go from there. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to list out the 5 and then we'll talk about them if it strikes you one way or another here. So 30, they have Portal, the 29, Assassin's Creed 2, Grand Theft Auto Vice City is 28, League of Legends 27, and Super Mario World is 26. So, anything from your perspective on that?
I'd probably put Mario World higher if it was me. And I would have Assassin's Creed, I don't know if it is higher, Brotherhood higher as well. Higher than 2 at least.
Yeah. I would say that they did say they take historical significance, how good the game is still to play today, and something else in there too. So.
By that metric though, I'd still say Brotherhood is better.
No, I'm just letting the people know in case they are listening to this and they don't have Game Informer or something like that. Yeah. So they're not basing it on, oh, hey, I remember this was great 20 years ago and, whatever. So they tried to take nostalgia out of it as much as you can. I don't know how much you can remove that out of your thinking when you got all different kinds of people in a room. This is how it's how they did this too. They apparently sat everybody in a room and they all tried to
bang the list out.
Bang a list out. Personally, I don't have any kind of connection to the Portal games, so those would not be anywhere near a list for me. But
I think Portal 1 is great. I wouldn't have Portal 2 on a list, but I think Portal 1, like, very inventive gameplay, and a cool setting for a game.
What do you think about, both of us are not, League of Legends people, but
it's fine. I think it's hard. I think it's funnier that it's harder than Dota 2.
Yeah, I do think that too, just because Dota 2 seems to be the game that people are still talking about,
Proving that League is better than Dota.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitively.
Super Mario World I would also have much higher as well. I'm surprised Vice City is where it is too. I think you could debate on the GTA games. A lot of people love San Andreas the most. It's so
I think. Well, do you think it should be higher or lower?
Maybe higher.
Because I would actually say it's probably fine right there, but it should be higher than 3 for definite. For sure.
Yeah.
Because Vice City is the one. It was set in the 80s, which is really neither here nor there. But it's the one that had an actual main character, and had personality.
That also goes along with the tremendous soundtrack.
Yeah,
that it had too. So there's that. After this, I'm surprised Last of Us is this low at 25. Civilization 4, Overwatch. That does not surprise me. Galaga and Half-Life 2.
I would say Civ 4 is kind of surprising. I guess I would much rather have Civ 5.
Right.
And Overwatch also kind of surprising to me. I looked through this list and Team Fortress 2 isn't on here, and Team Fortress 2 is more important than Overwatch.
Right. I think they are also trying to include newer games just from you got different people that are reading this. You got to try to make it seem like there's not this untouchable game that will never be beaten or whatever. Make it seem like the newer games can't have a place. And, it is pretty popular right now. So
their little heading should be Overwatch was good when it was called Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, that's true. You think Last of Us should be higher?
Not really. I actually think it's fine here because I know a lot of people didn't like the gameplay of Last of Us. It does take a while to get going, and to get the bow and arrow or to get silent kill stuff. Once you get that, then it really does open up. But the game just can just be punishing, and there are certain narrative problems in the game that don't make a lot of sense. Like when it just jumps ahead like 3 months to like a new season. It's like fall. It's like, okay, I have all the same shit I had, the last chapter. So
Yeah, like, okay, that 3 months a long time. What happened here? I think Galaga's fine where it is.
yeah, I have no appreciation of Galaga. So
Yeah, I don't either. That's like a game my stepmom used to love to talk about, but I don't have a thing. And Half-Life 2, I can't speak on that. So
I played it and didn't like it. So
Super Metroid at 20, Mass Effect 2 19, Counter-Strike at 18, Diablo 2, and then Chrono Trigger. A lot of Valve and Blizzard there, along with Mass Effect 2. So
I might have Super Metroid higher, but I don't think it's higher than like Chrono Trigger. Like necessarily.
Those are all like historically significant games. So
yeah,
they're kind of, I think, in that right realm. I personally would have Chrono Trigger a lot higher, but I think when you're talking about some of the games that are higher than it, you're looking at bigger historical significance. Chrono Trigger is a great game. It has a great story. It's one of the first games that have the like multiple endings, all that. But yeah, there's games that are way more important than it.
I just didn't like. I got to a point in Chrono Trigger where I kind of just stopped playing because I was in the future, like the future city that's also destroyed, and my characters kept bitching about how hungry they were.
Yeah,
I'm like, leave me alone.
You also have BioShock at 15, Super Street Fighter Turbo 2 Turbo, Doom, Minecraft. Sorry, we both have the physical editions of this, so you're hearing us go through magazine. Miss Pac-Man, and The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 surprises me a lot being at 10.
Should it be higher or lower?
I would think lower. I think Skyrim being before it kind of makes sense. But
I think the amount of scale in Witcher 3 is impressive. I guess the one weird thing on this list would be Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It's like, the 9th iteration of Street Fighter 2? Like, why not just have Street Fighter 2? Like, I know it's not
I think it's the one that people think about the most, though, right? The Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
I mean, because it has the most characters, and it's like the fastest. But I mean, in terms of overall importance, like Street Fighter 2, like the original 8 characters. You don't need to have fucking T-Hawk and for it to be... No game should, on a game of the year list should have T-Hawk in it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put... I expected Minecraft to be in the top 10, honestly. Just from, I think, historical significance, what it's been able to do, where the humble beginnings it comes from to be the game that it is today, and so many, it touched all kinds of, every kind of generation you can think of, and it's on every freaking system, and, I think it's fine where it is, and Doom is fine where it is. For me, I don't know. I think Doom is certainly, it's got its place as to why it's there.
Yeah.
So, you don't think about first-person shooters without that game. So
yeah, if not it was practically one of the first-person shooters.
And Miss Pac-Man, I think, is fine where that is. It's, when you talk about arcade games, that is the game I think most people think about.
Sure.
So, and then you got Skyrim, which I don't have any attachment to, but I know a lot of people do. Red Dead Redemption, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, Final Fantasy 6, and WoW. So
I think Morrowind is a better game than Skyrim, personally. And I think Red Dead might be too high.
I also think Red Dead is too high. I just don't, I know that it's really, really good. I just don't remember until people started talking about the second one, all this praise that people put on it.
Red Dead?
Yeah, Red Dead.
Oh, no, because people have wanted for years for there to be like a redemption on PC. Right. Like that's the one Rockstar game that hasn't been, aside from like Rockstar table tennis, which no one cares about. But
hey, that was cool when that came out. Just from who would have thought like table tennis would be good, but
What about Final Fantasy VI? Like I assume you played it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI, I think is looking at the games that are above it. I think that's to be the highest RPG. I think is fair. It's the most well-rounded of the Final Fantasy RPGs. It has the most characters and the best story for those characters.
Excuse me, I think you're forgetting about Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you think about how long the game is, it has one of the best villains in all of RPGs, because he just wanted to freaking, blow up the world because he could. I mean, you don't get any more simple, but not so ridiculous than that. I think WoW obviously has its place, right? I was surprised that they would put WoW above some of these other games if you're going by historical significance.
Well, WoW wasn't the first MMO, but it was the first mainstream MMO, and it,
and that it's still going, right? It's been consistent the whole time.
Yeah, I mean the player base has dropped off, but I mean WoW had I think at like one point like 15 million players or something.
Right.
So that's nuts when you think about it.
Yeah, like when all these other MMOs have, gone or they're like barely on the radar. The companies that have them will try to make it seem like they're bigger than they really are. But, for WoW to have started the way it did and then it's gone on, and obviously now they're making more expanses because they have to keep it going. But there's so many stories, good and bad, about WoW.
Yeah.
That, that shows how much of a historical landmark it is.
I mean, realistically, you could play WoW forever, like if you were really inclined. I mean, you couldn't say that about any other game on this list, really.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Grand Theft Auto 5.
Maybe like Minecraft. Huh?
Like they keep doing the way they keep updating Grand Theft Auto 5, maybe. But you know that there's going to be a Grand Theft Auto 6 at some point.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 4. Tetris, Super Mario 3, and Legend of Zelda. I think the top 3 are the historic top 3 for a lot of people.
Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past.
Link to the Past, sorry. Link to the Past. And, there's that debate between Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past, right?
That debate is over and is Link to the Past.
I would agree with you.
Ocarina of Time is a great game, but like the amount of side stuff you can do is pretty bad.
Mm. Not to mention the 64 graphics that, aren't kind.
Well, I mean,
nowadays,
like Link to the Past has timeless graphics because it's sprite based, and that's kind of in vogue now. I mean, at the time, Zelda blew everyone's mind.
Right.
I would actually probably put Tetris in number 2, though, or I would put Mario. I think Mario World is a better game than Mario 3.
I personally love Mario World the most out of all the Marios. I was surprised it's down there at 26.
And I really think GTA 5 is too high.
I can see why, right? People have played this through cross generations. It's still going.
Like, I have no interest in the multiplayer. And I think the story really falls apart like halfway through the game.
I think what they're trying to say is, I guess, some of the characters are good. What does hold it together today is the multiplayer. Even if we aren't interested in that personally, it's going like nobody's business. It keeps selling. How many freaking years has this thing been on top 10 lists? That's a factor too when you're thinking about historical significance and you're thinking about all that stuff that people don't like to talk about when you're doing these lists. A lot of people will be like, oh, who cares about sales? Well, sales matter. I agree with you too. Like, I'd have it maybe top 10 or something, but not 4.
Yeah.
The Super Mario 3 and then others debate has been a thing, right? Super Mario 3, I think, is a lot of people will say that's the best one. You got people that will die for World. There's people that think Galaxy is the best one.
I think Mario 3 has it's more creative.
Right.
Like the worlds are more separated. Like there's the island kingdom, the sand kingdom, the giant kingdom, stuff like that. Mario World doesn't really have that, but I think just overall Mario World plays better and is a more skillful game. Like if you are really good at flying around, you can breeze through levels. Like you don't even see Mario half the time because you're just flying above everything.
Well, Mario 3 you can skip entire worlds because of the flute. So
yeah, but yeah. Mario World, you have the stupid star thing. You can beat that game in 20 minutes if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like I think both of them are challenging, right? Like Mario 3 has its challenging parts of it that are very difficult. Super Mario World, I think I agree with you. I love the fact that you had Yoshi in that game and you could jump around with him, and then all the different levels and the way. I agree with you on the whole. Super Mario 3 has you have the what's the thing with the raccoon deal? I can't Tanuki or
Tanuki suit. And he also had Mario 3 also has the best power up ever with the Kuribo shoe.
Yep. Both of them introduced a lot of it. I think when you think about the NES, and I think that might have been what they're doing here too. If you're going to have the one pinnacle NES game, Super Mario Bros. 3's, right? So
yeah,
if that's what they're going for, then yeah, fine. I think that when you're talking about Super Nintendo, the pinnacle Super Nintendo game is Link to the Past. So, as much as I love Chrono Trigger and Super Mario World and all that stuff, so I think that's fine. If that's what they're trying to highlight, those two systems, then great. And Tetris, I don't think you don't have portable gaming without Tetris. So, that deserves its place by that alone. Not to mention Tetris was so addictive. I'm not a big Tetris person, but
see, I could probably play Tetris forever. Like if I was on a desert island, the two games I would have would be Tetris and WoW. Yeah. Tetris to play and WoW to be get me the fuck off this island.
Yeah. So, and it's because you just keep going. It's endless levels, and you play other modes. And
well, the only problem with Tetris is it eventually gets too fast for people.
Right. You learn good hand-eye coordination pretty quick with that game. So I think it's difficult. I know everybody's going to have their top 5, or if you're not thinking about it that way, what your top 5 games of all time are. As you got to remember, they've got a staff of I want to say 30, 40, who knows how many people. And you've got so many different tastes in there, but you've all kind of got to agree on something. And I think it's hard to argue with that top 3.
Yeah.
Right? To say, okay, we're going to take any 3 of those off because they are so significant to those systems that they're on, what they did for those systems. If you're looking at the early Marios, that's the pinnacle of that before you move on to World and everything else. Zelda, it's still the pinnacle for you and many other people of what Zelda is. A lot of people don't like Breath of the Wild because of not having certain things. As much as love as there is for Breath of the Wild, there are many that did not care for it as much. So,
well, Breath of the Wild is missing a story and dungeons.
Right, and those are two things that Link to the Past carried.
And items. You have the 4 power-ups, but you don't have, the hammer or the hook shot or anything like that.
And you have the thing with people hate the weapons break.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that myself, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of get around it.
Right. So I don't know. Anything else you want to say about this? Look, 300 games that's a massive undertaking. I don't think I ever want to do that myself. We tried to do 100 games. That did not go very well.
Well,
either.
You haven't read this list, I don't think, have you?
No, not the whole thing. No.
Well, when you come back to the podcast next time, you should look it over, and then we should both calculate or figure out how many games we've actually played on this list or beat or something like that.
I would say played, because going through how many I've beat is a very small number. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting. Like what I love about these lists too is you learn about games that, like, man, I didn't even know about this game, or can you even play this game right now? Because now I kind of want to play it. But yeah, these are always fun, and again, congrats to Game Informer for getting to 300 issues. That's amazing. So
I think it's funny that there were 3 Persona games in this list.
Hey, they all deserve to be there.
Yeah.
So, so Team Fortress 2 is not even on there at all?
No, it's like 80 or it's 89.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I wish the one thing I wish this list has would be like a glossary or like an index.
That would have been a good idea. You'd think, right?
Yeah.
But all right, now officially, till next week. See you later.